でも俺たち別れても友達だよな。
バッキャロー、当たり前じゃねえかよ。ソウルフラックスター、ソウルフラックスター、
Hey everybody, I'm Courtney, and this is Josh, and this is the
Geeks by Night Subbed and Dubbed Anime Book Club.
episode 2! Not 4, but 2. 2. Okay, anyways, to get all the plugs and stuff out of the way, in case you didn't know, we stream this podcast and our games podcast at twitch.tv/geeksbynight. So you can watch that live on Saturday afternoons for this podcast and Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Gamescast. We upload all of our podcasts up to YouTube and on Podbean, which goes to iTunes, which I didn't check if we're even on iTunes yet, if we got approved or not. Hopefully we're up on iTunes by now. If we're not, then it'll probably be sometime next week. Who knows how fast they work? I honestly don't know. And if you haven't already, make sure to like us on Facebook, which is just facebook.com/geeksbynight, and follow us on Twitter, which is @nightlygeeks. Other than that, all the other good stuff. Today, we're going to be specifically talking about Spirited Away, which was our book club anime for this week. And I'm super excited because I actually just watched it right before this. Like, literally this afternoon watched it because I was busy all week and just never took the time to watch it. Have you watched it? You watched it twice, right?
I watched it twice.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Anything else we need to go over, really? No, not that I could see. Have you been watching anything other than Spirited Away?
I watched a couple more episodes of Diabolic Lovers. Still continue to despise the fact that I'm watching it.
I have not been watching any other anime. I made I don't know if it's the mistake or a good thing, but I started watching Community again. So rewatching Community, which is one of my favorite TV shows, last Saturday night, I think, and have been nonstop watching it. I'm already in season 5, and I just love that show. And so I haven't been able to watch anything else, which is another reason why it took me until today to watch Spirited Away. But I'm almost done. But I did watch it, yeah, that's true. That is true. Okay, so before we get into the Spirited Away talk, there is some news to talk about again. On this podcast, we're not always going to talk about news, but if there's big news pertaining to something anime-related, we will cover it. Or just something funny. Like there's one today that's a little bit funny. We're just going to talk about a little. All right, so do you want to talk about the first one? Do you want to introduce it?
Sure. So last week we talked about the upcoming Attack on Titan game for PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. Talked about a little bit of what we wanted, and we got some news pertaining to that.
Yes, we did. Let's see. Some of the bullet points. The project started at the end of 2013. That doesn't make any sense, really, that line. Do you see
They started working the game.
Yeah. The project started at the end of 2013 and in February of 2014. So it's just like, why even add that? You know, like it started at the end of 2013. There's no these 2 months.
Continued.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Okay, it'll have action elements that involve cooperation with allies and sacrificing allies, making it different than a hunting-style game. It has opinions and feedback from the series creator. The game will be following the original story. It's being made in a way where players will get to be able to freely move around the world rather than defeating an enemy and moving along in the story. The base is action game, but one that will allow you to understand the story in the midst of action. It'll start out at the beginning of the Attack on Titan original story. It's being made with PlayStation 4 as the base, so it's not going to be like Vita based, since the Vita is the lesser of the systems, so it's not going to look like crap on PS4. Hopefully, hopefully.
You would think not.
They've remade the action part of the game 3 times already through trial and error. The other parts, like the story, extra elements, and game system parts, have been going well. And Koei Tecmo aims to release it sometime this winter. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
You get to use the 3D maneuver gear.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it really wouldn't be an Attack on Titan game.
I wonder how freely it'll work, though, is the part I'm really curious about. They still haven't revealed whether or not you're going to play as Eren.
Hopefully not.
But yeah, so bunch of news, a bunch of little tidbits about it that we didn't know before. Answer some of our questions.
The good news is, if you hate Armin, it sounds like you might be able to get him killed off.
Wow. Okay, so we talked a little bit last week about how we kind of wanted it to be its own story, splitting off from the main story. There's no telling whether or not this actually does, or if it will do that. It says it to follow along the original story, but maybe that's only for part of it. Maybe they still will split. I don't, who knows?
It could just mean that it goes along the same kind of thing with it. It may not be directly the story of it, but the same things happen in the world around you kind of thing. So
it could be like the Ultimate Ninja Storm games.
Yeah.
Where, like, more or less you're playing the actual story, but it's just free, open world, doing stuff, and like that. I love the way they set those games up to follow the anime, so that's really cool.
Yeah, so that still could be okay.
Yeah. Still really curious about Koei Tecmo, all the stuff they're doing with it. It sounds like since they've redone the action part of the game a few times, we may end up getting a good game. If they're reworking it because it didn't work the way they had it or the way they thought they wanted to do it. So that's good news. They're not just going to go with some crap action. Okay, anything else to say about it?
No, not particularly.
I want to apologize to anybody listening to this in the future. If I don't sound like I have a whole lot of energy, it's because I'm really hungover right now. Really hungover, and we're recording this probably 3 hours later than we should have because I couldn't get out of bed because I have a horrible headache. So sorry about that. Hopefully, I won't do that again.
If I sound tired and unenthusiastic, that's my own fault, so you can just blame me.
He's just always tired and unenthusiastic. He hates everything.
I do hate everything.
Okay.
Except anime. That's why I'm here.
So, and games.
And games.
Most games. Okay, you only like some games.
Like 3 games.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, 1. You lied. One more thing on the news before we go into talking about Spirited Away, which is the main point of this podcast. Josh stumbled across something really funny earlier.
I did.
What is it, Josh?
Crunchyroll does a lot of fan polls and stuff like that. And they thought of a very creative one recently. And they had the fans weigh in on the most attractive anime characters with facial hair.
Okay. There were 10,000 fans that voted for their favorite beard and mustache wearers. Let's see. There were 73 entrants into it.
Oh, wow.
And the top 20, let's talk about some of the notables. We don't have to go through them all. Number 20 actually isn't a human. So that's interesting.
It is a robot.
It's a Gundam.
With mustache.
With a mustache. So that's hotness. Let's see who else notable.
17
is
Hughes.
Maze Hughes.
Yeah. Attractive in everything, including personality. Like, oh my gosh, complete package.
Maze Hughes, Fullmetal Alchemist, has a scruffy beard. That's how he got on there. I should just start only shaving my mustache area and just go like him.
Get the Hughes.
Maze Hughes. Oh, I should cosplay as him for Halloween.
Oh, you should.
That'd be fun.
That would be awesome.
Number 15, Master Roshi from Dragon Ball. That pervy old guy. That's awesome.
Oh man, he fits right in the most attractive list.
Yes, it does.
Klein from Sword Art Online makes it in at number 11.
With the little bit of scruff on his chin.
He got that peach fuzz. It counts. Taizo Hasagawa from Gintama, number 5. Should have been higher. Definitely should have been higher. Look at pictures.
If you were in the stream, I posted a link to this story, so you can see it there. And if I remember, I'll post it in the description of our YouTube video of this and everything, so you can find the story.
It's much more amusing when you can see some of the pictures of the people these people chose.
Yeah. Number 2 is Edward Newgate, a.k.a. Whitebeard from One Piece. And he doesn't have a beard. He just has a big white mustache that just curls up.
Pretty much has the crescent moon plastered to his face.
Yep. I think he just got on there because of his muscles. He's huge. He's big and buff. And number 1 is Daisuke from Lupin 3 or the Third or however you'd want to say it.
I.
Lupin I.
Lupin E!
Lupin line.
He blew away the competition with double the amount of votes of even the second place.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. That's crazy. Okay. So now let's get into the most important part of the podcast. The book club discussion! Woo! Sorry, I'm trying to bring my A game now. I'm trying to ramp up my excitement. All
the A game is here.
The A game is here. Well, I guess we should have said it earlier, but we'll go into it now since totally. I see this is new to us. This whole book club type podcast. So we're gonna have to hammer out all the kinks as we go on. We should start announcing in the beginning of the podcast what we're gonna be watching next week, so that everybody has it up front. So just so everybody knows, right here and now, it'll be everywhere else. We'll talk about it later too. Next week, we're going to be watching FLCL, or otherwise known as Fooly Cooly. And since it's only like a 6-episode show, we're going to watch all 6 episodes by next episode, our next episode of the podcast. So by next Saturday, we're going to have watched all 6 of those, and then we're going to talk about them. As I explained last week, we don't want to go with the whole only doing 2 episodes per week, because a lot of the series we want to watch are anywhere between 24, 26, and like 64 episodes. And if we did that, that could take 30 weeks or half the year to go through one show to record the podcast. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. And so we're not going to do that. So we're going to go probably about 5 or 6 episodes a week, depending on what the show is, depending on how many we have left and stuff like that. So to start us off, next week we're going to go with FLCL. So watch that by next week. Now, for this week, we watched Spirited Away. So hopefully if you're listening, you've already seen Spirited Away, and if not, you don't care about spoilers, because now we're going to spoil the shit out of it. Josh, Josh, you have not seen Spirited Away until this past week.
I had not.
You hadn't seen any Miyazaki film until this week.
I had not.
What did you think of your first one?
I thought it was pretty fantastic.
Yes. It's a very good
just the wonder that he puts into it. Like, everything is so pretty and interesting and intricate.
And there's just okay, so for me it's I wonder what goes through his mind when he's coming up with stuff like this, because there's just some weird things in his movies, and this one specifically, just weird ass scenes, characters, like they all have these crazy personalities, they're so strange, but at the same time like super endearing, like in the grand scheme of the movie you're just like, oh, it was he put a lot of thought into making this character an asshole at the beginning, and then you love that character by the end, or something like that. Let's see. Is there anything specifically you want to talk about it, since you hadn't seen it until now?
Um, one of the things that I wanted to say that's just interesting is, and I didn't completely understand, some of the characters, such as I think her name was Lynn, right?
That was the girl who was training
Yeah.
Chihiro.
Is she not human? Because she looks like a human.
Yeah, I don't think she's a human, but that's a good question, actually. Let me.
Yeah, most of the women don't look. Everyone else is like a frog,
Yeah.
and all the women look like women. And I didn't really understand what they were supposed to be.
I'm Googling it right now.
You Googling it?
Googling it!
Googly
She's a
boogly.
spirit, a bathhouse worker. It doesn't say anything else about it. It's a worker at the bathhouse who is assigned to be Chihiro's caretaker. Yep, doesn't say anything about if she's anything other than human.
Yeah, I mean.
So she just could be a human spirit. I mean,
Yeah, I guess. It's
Eclipse
an interesting contrast.
says that I think she was a spirit in the chat, Twitch chat. So yeah, probably just a human spirit.
Yeah.
Which I guess, and the only other person who looked really human would be Haku, and it was just like a human version or whatever, because he was actually like a dragon. As we find out later on, the Kohaku River spirit, or spirit of the Kohaku River.
Whichever way.
Yeah. So I was at the very beginning of the movie. Well, not the very beginning, but it's towards the beginning when you first meet the witch, and Chihiro. Hey, James. James is in the chat.
Hey.
Chihiro goes up there, and the door knocker or whatever, the witch's face like calls her like a horrible person, or I don't even remember what she called her, but it was just so creepy. I was like, oh god, like part of what I was thinking about during the first half of the movie was that this is kind of like a kid's movie, but yet if I was watching this as a kid, I probably would have been scared. Like, there's just some creepy ass stuff in this movie, and it's just, especially towards the beginning, like eventually you figure everything out, but I'm just like, can you imagine being a kid watching this, and you're imagining yourself as her, and her parents turn into fucking pigs, and then all of a sudden ghosts start appearing in this place, and then she's trapped and scared and alone, and it's just like, oh my god, I would be freaking out. And then she meets the guy who works in the bathhouse that warms up the water and stuff, and he's all creepy and has multiple arms and legs and stuff, and it's just like, dude, I would be tripping balls if I was a kid watching this.
I mean, part of it is probably that that's what it's supposed to be, because a kid watching it is seeing a kid and how the kid would feel in that situation. So it's pretty much, it is creepy, but I think it's meant to be, and then the adaptation to the situation that she goes through
as she gets more comfortable with everybody around her and doing everything. Which, by the way, like, man, she had some balls on her. She she like manned up and started working and stuff for the bathhouse and everything, and it's just like, and then totally accepted the no face spirit. Like, at the beginning, whenever he was just standing out there creepily in the rain, and she's pouring out the bucket of water, and she's like, oh, hey, and she, like, does the head nod or whatever to say hello, and then like, I'll leave the door open for you, and just walks away. And
come in when you feel like it.
This creepy black spirit with this weird mask and stuff, like, and you just, whatevs, you can come in. Oh, it's so weird, but yeah, she's an awesome character. I really liked her.
Chihiro.
So we have some things that we could talk about on the outline, such as our favorite moment of the week. So on any normal week of this podcast, when we go through certain episodes of a show, we'll just talk about our favorite moment from that set of episodes. And since this was a movie, we just have to choose from the movie. So, Josh, what was your favorite moment from Spirited My
favorite moment was when the big stink spirit thing. I don't remember. Is that what they called it?
That's what they thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he comes in and he gets in the tub and all his muck starts flowing out. And Chihiro's like the only one in there, and she grabs her legs and she just starts trotting her way through it all the way up there, pulls the lever, clears all the muck out, and then realizes there's this extra problem and it has to be helpful and sweet. And then she wins over the help of the river spirit. And oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's so cute, the determination.
I liked the part where during that scene, right after she does it or whatever, and nobody can see up there, and like his mask or whatever, or his face appears or whatever, and it's just, he said, I don't remember what he said. It's something like "good job" or something like that, and it's just like, aww, that was cute. I love
exactly.
I love Spirited Away. Yeah, that's a really good scene. God, though, like when he was first walking into the bathhouse and getting into the tub and everything, and the muck just started flowing out of him and stuff, I was so grossed out. It's just like, oh God, that is just nasty. And she's just walking through it, like you said, like
waddling through it.
gross.
And the food that Lynn's carrying just like sizzles and dies.
Yeah.
Because of the stench.
Oh, and I thought it was strange during that scene where after everything started flowing out and the water started pouring in there to wash it all out, all of the bathhouse workers were all standing outside the door looking in there at her, and they just stood there as all the muck just flowed into them like waist high, and didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't anything like they had been the rest of the time. But that time they're just like, whatever.
Well, that at that point they were more impressed with Chihiro than they were disgusted by all the muck.
Eclipse in the Twitch chat, which is twitch.tv/geeksbynight. You took my moment. My favorite moment of the movie is towards the end of the movie, whenever Haku goes and picks her up from the witch's twins' house or whatever, and they're flying back, and she has that flashback that she had been having throughout the movie of herself underwater, and realizes that as a kid she dropped her shoe into the water, into a river, the Kohaku River, and the spirit saved her, and that spirit was actually Haku. And so she tells him that, and all of a sudden, like, he flinches, and like all of his scales just fall off, and he turns back into his human form, and they're both falling down in the sky and the holding hands, kind of like spinning, and he's like, thank you, you remembered me or whatever, and it helps me, all my memories are back, and blah blah blah, I remember you, I remember the pink shoe or whatever. And it was just like this really really touching moment as they're falling from the sky. It's just like one of those movie could have ended there kind of thing, like in any other movie really, but it kept going. There was more to the story, but it was just a really really cool moment for me. Really like that.
If you didn't know, he's a romantic.
I am pretty much a romantic. Yeah. I could have said the part where her true love healed him and broke the curse, but I didn't. I didn't.
Thank you for that.
Let's see. We have a smooth operator in the chat. Have you seen Spirited Away? Do you have a favorite moment? If so, let us know in the chat. But other than that, now we have a character of the week, which we'll also be doing every episode, hopefully. Pick our favorite character from that set of episodes or movie or whatever we watched for that episode of the podcast. So, Josh, who was your favorite character from Spirited Away?
My favorite character from Spirited Away was Dr. Robotnik, a.k.a. Kamaji, the guy who does all the stuff with the steam and powers the baths.
Why was he your favorite character?
Number one, he was just crazy cool with all the arms and like the ability to stretch and just grab at things from all the different drawers, and his interactions with the little suit creatures was hilarious.
Yep.
Plus, also, my favorite line from the movie: what is this human doing here? She's my granddaughter.
Yeah. She wants to work here, but I don't need any extra help. So give her some, or take her to whatever the witch's name.
You blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he was an awesome character, and that was actually who I wanted to choose as my favorite. But I saw you had done that, so I was like, I'll pick somebody else, because there are a lot of really good characters in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to go with the soot monsters, the little creatures, because, and that's not who I'm picking, but the reason why I wanted to choose them is because I love the scene where one of them drops a rock on themselves or whatever, gets squished, she picks it up or whatever, and takes it for them, and the rest of them see that, and so they're all like, they all drop the rocks on themselves so that she'll hopefully do that for all of them, and it's just so funny. It's just like they learned that she'll help, and it was funny. But I'm gonna go with my favorite character was Bo, the baby, only because of one scene. Well, okay, because of two reasons. One of them is when she's in the pile of like toys or whatever, and meets the baby for the first time and stuff, and he's like, oh, there's germs out there, can't go out there, blah blah blah, you have to stay here, and she's like, no, I have to go out there, and blah blah, and he's like, I'll cry, or I'll break your legs, or something like that. He like threatens her, and it's like super ruthless, and I was just like, oh my god, like, he's a really mean baby. And then the other reason why I chose Bo is because whenever Bo turns into the mouse, and it just like it's so funny, like for the rest of the movie when he is a mouse instead, and he's just really cute and funny, and yeah, you just have to see the little moments, because he doesn't talk obviously, so there's nothing I can really explain. He just does really funny things as a mouse.
Yeah, I agree with that part. But as a baby, he's just so annoying.
Yeah, he kind of is. And I actually thought of another one of my favorite scenes from the movie, and I have it up here on my computer so I can play it, because it's just because of a line. Josh and I were talking about this right beforehand. It's how the movie ends in English. They are walking through the tunnel, and they get in the car, and they're talking about how Chihiro is scared and stuff to start a new school and all this stuff, and then the very, very last line is this.
Home and a new school. It is a bit scary.
I think I can handle it.
I think I can handle it. It was perfect. I just cracked up whenever I heard that. It's like, yeah, you just went through some really creepy, scary shit. You can handle this. This is going to be a breeze compared to your parents being pigs and you dealing with ghosts and spirits and witches and all kinds of craziness. Like, yeah. And as we found out, that's not in the sub version.
No, it is not. In the sub version, after the car drives away, there is no more talking whatsoever. There's no mention of, oh no, I can handle it, or anything like that. And it's kind of interesting because the American dub version is very American, to end it with a joke line talking about all the experiences had in the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm. And so, okay, and the reason we found that out, that that wasn't in the sub version, is because I brought that up, and Josh was like, wait, what? It's like, I don't remember that. And so, yeah, so we had to go through that. And that's one of the random things about the dubs versus subs. Sometimes they add stuff like that, or they change things significantly in some cases. Okay, so since we watched a movie, we only have a one-off here, we're going to have to review this. Didn't even think about that until just now.
Yeah.
So what would you say on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate Spirited Away, and why?
It's still a good score, but people might be upset with it. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 because the conflict resolution at the end is just like that. Like, at first you think that this her twin is like evil, She gets there. 2 seconds later, oh, by the way, I'm not.
Yeah.
And Baba is kind of, but seriously not that bad either. Go
Yeah.
back. And she goes back, and then it's like, oh, here, pick your parents out of a lineup. They're not there. Woo, win! I mean, that's how it ended. Like, the rest of it's so great that I still give it an 8, but the end it's a little quick,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, it was a 2-hour movie, so there was the ending more or less started with seeing the twin to me, with meeting the twin, and well, actually, I would say it probably started with Haku learning who he was and all that, which even then, that's only another 5 minutes before the scene you're describing. So it was a pretty quick ending, you're right.
Yeah.
For it being 2 hours, a 10-minute really quick wrap-up there. But that's also a trope of anime. A lot of anime just ends. And
That's true.
You never get an epilogue. You never learn anything about what's going to happen. It's all, you just have to take it as it is and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. I would probably give Spirited Away somewhere like an 8.5. Probably like an 8.5 in the middle, right there in between 8 and 9. I love the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the characters in it. I love the things that are the mysteries of the movie that are revealed towards the beginning. They slowly reveal themselves throughout the movie, and you slowly get to an end, and you figure out why everything is the way it is, why people are doing what they're doing, things like that. Specifically, Haku, who he is, and why he's there, the mystery that is why he doesn't remember his name, where he's from, he doesn't have a home to go back to, all that stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. I love this movie. I love Miyazaki films, and I'm glad that we finally got you to watch one of them, and so now you know what it's all about.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to watch more of them.
Yes, yes, you are. We can add them to the list, the watch list. Anyways, okay.
Anyway.
Anything else you want to talk about Spirited Away before we move on to the listener questions?
Only one little note from my favorite scene with the river spirit.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of cool, all the junk that floated out, like a bike and all this other garbage and stuff. It's kind of talking about how people pollute rivers and all the random crap that people will just throw in. And
That is
loops.
a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's hilarious!"
And
Environmental protection, my friend.
And you know what? I guarantee you, the more you watch it, the more little things like that you'll find. Because that's the type of film this is. It's like, it's hard to... I would equate Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki films and stuff to that of Disney or Pixar, like the amount of detail they put into their films and stuff like that, and the little things that they add, themes and
Right.
things like that. And the more you watch those, the more you realize things like that. So that for sure would say that this film specifically is a lot like that. God, like there is so much to talk about this movie that we could still go into. It's just that it would take us forever.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's roll on. We got 2 emails with questions. So if anybody's watching in the Twitch chat, you can submit any questions you want about Spirited Away, about us, or about anime. We could answer them there. If not, that's fine. We will answer the ones in the email. One of them, I believe, did we say it on the podcast last week to do this?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. So we got an email from Mohammed. He said, "Dear Geeks by Night, my name is Mohammed, and I'm mad. Josh hasn't seen Spirited Away, and he's co-hosting an anime podcast. I demand that he gets replaced. P.S. You guys are doing great work with Geeks by Night, and I'm honored to be a fan. P.P.S. Fire Josh. He's an imposter."
Okay, so calm down, please. I've only been watching anime for 3 years, and I've only watched one movie. It's all just shows. And now, I have seen this movie twice.
In a matter of a week.
In a matter of a week. So, I think my job should now be secure, yes? Please.
You're on the line. I'm thinking of replacing you with Klein.
That's insulting. That is very insulting.
What? Then I could have a bromance. Well, we already have a bromance, you and me.
I mean, so
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we have one more question from the email, and it's from Harry, and he said, "If you could slap any anime character in the face, who would it be and why?" That's a really good question. So while we're thinking of an answer, if you want to email us any questions for any future episodes of the podcast, you can at contact@geeksbynight.com. It's super easy. Just make the subject line anime question and send us a question, and we will read it off on the podcast, and we'll answer it on the podcast. We'll give you a shout out and everything like that. Who would I want to slap in the face?
okay, if I had more time, I probably would pick someone different. Danzo from Naruto.
Danzo that is the guy who's wrapped up, or half
and
his
in
face
charge
half
of
of his face
the
is wrapped up.
Anbu
Black Ops. Okay, yeah,
Yes. Oh my goodness. I would slap him
he's an
as
ass.
many times as I was allowed
Yeah, he's an
before
ass.
he used his jutsu and killed me.
His jitsu.
For the good of the village.
Let's see. Who would I want to slap in the face? Oh, that's really hard. I should have pulled up my anime list beforehand so I could think about it.
You can't pick me.
I'm pulling. I could slap you. I would slap Yamcha in the face from Dragon Ball Z because Yamcha is just a bitch. He's just the most worthless character in the entire series. He's more worthless than Krillin. At least Krillin was Goku's best friend. Yamcha was he's just a bitch. He was a bandit with a sword, and he got his ass beat over and over by Goku, and then he just started following them because he had a huge crush on Bulma because Bulma has tits. And he never got his power level higher than anybody. He was basically just a fucking yell leader for them the entire series. It was horrible. Yamcha's horrible.
Okay.
Yamcha's a bitch. That was a good question. Again, so if you have any questions in the future for us to answer, anything about anime, anything about us, email us at contact@geeksbynight.com. Super easy. Now we're gonna move into the Geeks by Night threesome, and this is really cool. This week, our topic for the threesome, which when we do the threesome, it's you have to just pick 3 of something that you would want.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we're doing anime openings. It's if you could listen to 3 anime openings or endings for the rest of your life, what would they be? Which means you can't listen to any other ones. You only have these 3 forever. And so that was super, super hard. Josh and I were talking about it, about how like each of us wanted to put like 20 of them on the list, and obviously that's not 3. We have to go with more than that, or less than that.
If you ask me any day other than today, it would change every time. This is just what I came up with today.
Okay, so for me, one of them would always be the same. There's one that will never move out of the top 3. It'll always be there. But the other 2, like Josh said, those I could rotate those out with any of them, and it would be super easy. Like I did it like 3 times right when I told him that I had them decided on. I still kept switching. I was like, oh, dude, I want this one on there instead. Okay, so my 3. Number 3 is Aquarion. The opening to Aquarion, and the reason for that, not only is it just a good song, but the reason for it is that during the very first episode of Aquarion, the main character is being held up like in this building, like halfway through this building. It's really hard to explain. You'd have to watch it. And he gets like pulled out of it, and he's falling, and there's these like cords and stuff hanging on to him in the on his back, and they're like kind of floating out, and they kind of look like wings as he's falling. And that's the first time the theme song actually plays. It doesn't play at the beginning of the episode, but it starts to play there, where he's slowly falling, and the things look like wings over him, and it's showing that he's actually this character, this reincarnated character, that's not a spoiler. You find that out pretty much right away. It's just you have to watch it. We're gonna post all the links to the openings in the Twitch chat, and hopefully I'll remember to do that in the description and stuff, so you can see them there too. But yeah, so that's number 3 for me. Number 2 for me is Batum, which is an awesome anime that we're gonna have to watch for this book club. But the opening is just like so energetic and awesome. Like, it gets me hyped every single time I hear it. I remember I watched the entire series in one night last year, and one of the reasons was because of the opening. Because I'm like, oh, one more episode, whatever. And then you start that opening, and it's like 2 a.m, and it's just like, oh god, I'm so freaking pumped again. Yes, let's do this. So like that's just a really, really good opening. And number 1, the one that will never, ever, ever move out of the top 3 for me, is the first opening to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It doesn't get any better than that one. Like, it really doesn't. Every single time I've ever listened to it, and I have hundreds of times now, I get goosebumps. And most specifically during one part of it, it is the part where Ed and Al are falling backwards, and their bodies are disappearing. Al's whole body disappears, because obviously his whole body disappears in the show, and Ed's arm and leg disappears, and then it switches to Winry, and she just kind of floats backwards, kind of like falls like they were doing when their bodies were disappearing. It's that part of the song mixed with that scene that shows those. I get like goosebumps hardcore every single time I see that. It is so good. I love the timing to it. And that's my top 3.
So my first one is that last one, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood Opening 1. And it's for pretty much that exact same reason. That part of the song is so amazing.
It is so good.
Like, you can listen to it a million times in a row, which I did, which is part of what convinced me to finally put it on my list. The second is Donten by Doze, which is Gintama's 5th opening. And the reason for that is, number 1, it's one of the few anime songs that I can just randomly, it'll pop into my head and I start singing as good as I can the Japanese lyrics to it. And also, every time I hear it, I can just picture specific scenes from Gintama in my head that it's just like, oh yes, this is the stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just what you want. You want an opening that reminds you of all the awesome. And my number 1 has been my ringtone for the past 2 years. Nothing's Carved in Stone is the band. It's called Out of Control. It's Psychopath's Opening 2. That one is actually in English, so I can sing that successfully.
Ooh.
And it just sounds super, super awesome to me.
To you.
Both Donten and that one are kind of rock, and I like that a lot.
Okay, and now Josh is posting his links in the chat for his top 3. And so like we were talking about how there were probably 20 or 30 of them that we each could have chose. And the reason I say that is not only that anime have really good openings, which they do, but they have such good openings that I actually have like 60 of them downloaded on my computer and on my iPod that I listen to and stuff. And so it's just, yeah. So I was like, I could choose all of these. I'm just going to list them all. I'm going to count them all as 3. But, whatever.
Only had so much time to talk about them.
So if you have a good Geeks by Night threesome you want to submit to us so that we can choose 3 of something, you can. Go ahead and submit them. You could tweet at us at Nightly Geeks, or you can post it on Facebook, facebook.com/geeksbynight, or you can email us at contact@geeksbynight.com. We will take any of them, any suggestions, any really cool ones. just to a certain level of inappropriateness, we'll take them. Like, to a certain amount. No, we're not doing any Mary Boff kills yet. Maybe eventually.
Someday.
Okay, let's do a Mary Boff kill. No. Okay, so that about wraps up episode 2 of the
Geeks by Night, subbed and dubbed anime book club.
Yeah. I think this one was shorter than the first episode, so that's good. We're going to try to keep this around 40 minutes to an hour each time. Hopefully it'll stay in there, not go too much over an hour. It'll depend on what the obviously the anime is and how many episodes we're talking about and stuff like that. Some of them we'll talk about more than others. Like this one is kind of hard to talk about a whole lot. I don't know, movies typically are, I think. But whatever. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. Could be.
So we'll find out.
If you want to watch the podcast live on Twitch, you can on Saturday afternoons. It'll probably go live anywhere between 2 and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We don't have a specific time because we both have lives, and it's Saturday, so
shocking
stuff happens. You never know. But if you don't catch us live and you want to listen to it, it should be up on iTunes by now. If not, it will be very, very soon. Otherwise, you could find it on YouTube going to our channel. The links are going to be everywhere. You could find them anywhere, really. We will post every single week a big post on Facebook and Twitter that'll have a direct link to the YouTube video and to the MP3, so you can listen to the MP3 on your browser anywhere. And then the RSS feed, if you want to throw that into a podcast catcher, if you have one of those apps on your phone or your iTunes device or anything like that or whatever. Other than that, next week we will be talking about FLCL, which is one of my all-time favorite anime because it's just so weird. It's actually one of the... It's a little bit of a preview for next week. It is one of the first anime I ever watched as a kid. Yeah,
dang.
I was first getting into anime, and we were watching Trigun and Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that. FLCL, and as it was called then, Fooly Cooly. It was showing every night on whatever it was called at the time. It was Toonami or it was Adult Swim or something way back then. But yeah, so, and I was like,
the 68th anime I watched.
I have no idea what is going on in the show. You know, it's crazy. So until next week, you can find us both on Twitter. I am at Osborne_2009. Josh is
at got_it_made43.
And Geeks by Night is at Nightly Geeks on Twitter. Yeah, we need a good sign off eventually. Bye.
I'm waving you towards me in Japanese.
That was a horrible ending.
Yeah, it was.